That'll be Invictus Gaming taking on World Elite. World Elite looking to tie up OMG for first place. We're going to go ahead and hop directly to picks and bans. So you can see that. So when we get into it, it's probably going to be a matchup like we said earlier, getting things started with the bottom lane having a very strong presence. This is where we get to finally see Kid take on Zhao Wei Zhao, or Wei Zhao, not Zhao Wei Zhao. I'm watching too much English LCS. But either way, I want to welcome you guys to the stream. And Nero, take us through these picks and bans. All right, while we wait for Nero to kind of check things out here, it's going to be primarily a, like I said, bottom lane focus, but look at the bans and how different they are from our first series
well,
of
you wanted
the game.
to talk to me, but actually you're muted on Skype, so I can't hear you. Sorry if I'm interrupting.
No problem. Now that we've gotten that worked out, I was just going to take a moment to have you walk us through like a very different pick and ban phase than we saw in our first series of the night, highlighting a lot more than just the mid lane, which was the focus of series number 1.
Yeah, so Lee Sin banned out right here. That definitely is a highly contested ban right here for Sin, because of course Korean players love to play this Lee Sin. And well, seeing this Braum coming out, that is a big surprise, because like actually in the previous best of 2 series we have seen a huge contest on Thresh, but he didn't get banned. This time around he got banned, so we have Braum getting picked up right here. But we have already seen the Braum in the jungle in the LPL, so some crazy stuff maybe coming out right here. But Kog'Maw on the AD carry could be a big thing right here. But there's no Lucian ban, and both of these AD carries love to play this champion. Of course there's also Twitch, there's Ezreal, but it seems like they're going for Kog'Maw, and that's a little bit different than I would have expected from them. And of course, it's also good to point out that Ninja and Sin, they were having a little bit of visa issues, so World Elite may not be in their top form right now. They haven't been screaming at all throughout the week. Yeah, so IG, I'm quite sure that they got a little bit of scolding after they lost versus LGD. The previous game was such a huge throw right there. Quite sure they worked it out by now, and Yongsu, he will be playing this Shyvana in the top lane most probably right now, so we'll see Shyvana versus Gragas. Well, this Gragas, finally it didn't get banned against him, which is, well, a good thing. But they didn't go for a first pick Gragas, so Yongsu will end up playing against the champion that he prefers so much. And yeah, as I said, the Lucian, he didn't get banned, he didn't get taken in the early stages. That is really weird, since it is such a contested champion pick. And there we go, in the last pick, Lucian coming out right here.
All right, well, the last pick of Evolution is never something that you'd necessarily expect. Usually it's very highly contested. And you can see going up against the Kog'Maw, while he may have the early game aggression advantage in lane, you probably won't actually see those 2v2 lanes unless some big changes happen as far as jungle vision is concerned, or maybe getting some deep wards just to scout out that lane matchup. Because if you get the Lucian in the Kog'Maw lane early on, then that can definitely swing things in his favor. But almost more than the bottom lane matchup, we're going to have to talk about how things are going to go across the board. You can see the Kha'Zix pick. Now, we saw it actually banned out in our previous series, and coming in here, it's not just going to be something that's going to be very strong versus a Kog'Maw, any sort of assassin that can dive the back line. It's going to keep them on their toes. The other big thing that we're going to talk about, like you said, with the lack of coordination, maybe looking for World Elite, is looking down to the bottom lane. You have to keep an eye on that duo and see if that has been affected over the course of maybe the break from scrimming.
Yeah, so talking about the previous series, we have seen Gragas picked up twice right then. So we'll see if this Gragas is going to be the more aggressive one or the more defensive one with the Frozen Hearth or the Frostborn Gauntlet. And of course, I am a fan of this Frozen Hearth, definitely. But it is also a weird thing because we see the Lulu in the middle lane, but there isn't actually this kind of an aggressive hyper carry top laner that can get this Wild Growth and be really huge and can jump in there to knock everyone up. But this is a Gragas. This is going to be a little bit more tanky. I usually see like Lulu and Orianna with some kind of a really hyper carry champion right there. But this Gragas is kind of a surprising pick. Of course, there's this Kha'Zix who will most probably get all the support from his team. But yeah, that usually was the top laner and not the jungler. So that's cool to see. Wei Xiao, of course, coming back to his top form. He definitely will be playing at his best today. But yeah, this lack of screaming may be quite impactful on the performance of World Lead today.
All right, so let's go ahead and get out onto the Rift for game number 1 of our second best of 2 series of the night. It is, of course, Invictus Gaming. They are in the blue. They'll be taking on World Elite in the red. And World Elite, of course, atop the standings coming into tonight's games. And IG, after having a somewhat disappointing series versus LGD last week, will be looking to both redeem themselves for that performance and take on their longtime rivals in World Elite.
Yeah, so IG, they have this Youngsu in the... Yeah.
And Youngsu just kind of... exchanging blows, staying high up there in the top rush. I don't even think they realized each other were there for the first second. But we'll just back on off. Very anticlimactic start to the top lane.
Yeah, so talking about Youngsu, he is stepping up every single time they play, but still IG are making some major mistakes. Definitely this LGD game will stay in our minds until the end of this split most probably. But look at that, World Elite are going aggressive right here and they will be chasing Zetai and he's a really bad spot.
Oh, slow there from Taste Their Fear. Now Zetai, the glitter lance to add insult to injury. There is first blood. That's gonna go on to Ninja.
And they were like slowly collapsing on him. He could have seen everyone and he was so afraid most probably. Well, this was inevitable right there. So World Elite, they will be stealing the blue buff. That is going to be a huge thing, but still, same thing most probably is going to come out on the other side of the map. Yeah, World Elite once again grabbing the early lead, and against Invictus Gaming, who haven't really been doing too well in the early stages in the split, in the summer split of LPL 2014.
Oh, and there's Youngsu. He gets the auto attack off onto Wei Xiao. With Conan coming up to the side, I don't think Youngsu is really going to be too willing to fight that. You'll actually notice Youngsu is not going for the double jungle situation. He's kind of trapped all alone, and if he's not careful, he'll get 4-man dove, although it does look like we're going to see Kha'Zix back away out of the jungle. Of course, he'll take Tame with him. They will do their own upper jungle. So now you can see Youngsu realize, all right, so we need to go for the double jungle. I got stuck top lane in this 2v1. Let's go start it. But a late start here for IG means that World Elite will have their solo laner farther ahead.
Yeah, so this first blood must definitely be a huge blow to Invictus Gaming. And especially, it is Zetai. He is the shot caller of the team at the moment. And he's really young, and this might be a big impact on his mindset going into this game. Not even talking about the experience in gold. And of course, it's his also his enemy, Ninja, the mid laner, he's playing against, who got the kill.
Well, Conan waiting off to the side. It's no longer duo lanes. They have left Wei Xiao up in the top half of the map. So big pressure here, and this is actually a strategy that we almost saw from like LGD in their series from last week versus IG, where you put so much pressure on the mid lane. You look for these huge 4 or 5-man ganks, but this time around IG are actually the one that are going to catch out onto Tame. They're going to pop that unbreakable, but can you go for the level 2 turret dive? 2v3 probably won't work out, but they're still going to try it, going deep underneath the turret. Tame is going to flash back out of there. Sin is the target of the damage, but there is taking out 1 kill. Are we going to find a second? It's going to be Kitty's going down. That's a 2 for 1 so far. Sin's in there, but is he going to be able to stay alive through the dive? The answer is, of course, no. Illusion now goes down, and across the board, just deaths everywhere. It's a massacre under the bottom lane turret, and, well, Conan's there, Kid's there, but nobody else is Holy hell, that was, what is that, a 1-4-3 exchange? 2 for 3.
Yeah, in favor of World Lead. And if you notice the tiny things, it was Sin that was following IG from the very beginning. He saw them taking out the wolves right there, and he was following the 3 members. They were well aware of this dive coming, and that's why they executed it so perfectly in World Lead. Once again, getting a little bit of a lead for themselves. And Conan jumping in right there with the flash Zenith Blade, securing a kill.
There is the slow glitter lance coming in. There's Taste Their Fear, leap in. There's the exhaust, and it's Sin putting his 2 kills, making it 3. And now, oh, Illusion very low is going to go down as well. Incredible roam towards the mid lane and just catching Zatai off guard. Illusion there too, overestimating the ability of his, his ability to save his mid laner. Wound up going down there as well. 2 more kills for World Elite.
Well, Illusion went in there to try and make it a 2v2 because he didn't know about Conan going into the lane, and then a surprise, it is a Leona in your face, completely stunning you up, denying everything, and he already used the leap to jump in there. He was immediately gone.
Yangsu and Wei Zhao, their time for the game comes a little bit later on, and this also a lane very far in favor of World Elite. They've got an AD carry that can farm and zone Yangsu out. They've got an AD carry that'll scale at least better than Yangsu just because of the incoming gold. You can see Yangsu's just desperately trying to get as much CS as he can, but it's not working out too well. He's up a little bit over Cao Mei, but he's gotten jungle experience even if he hasn't picked up that CS. You can see he's a little bit ahead in items as well, even though he's in a 2v1 lane of zone.
It's actually really good for him that Shyvana doesn't use the mana, because he would have run out of mana so quickly in the top lane. He just can't last hit with his skills and not with the auto.
Oh man, Zatai is about to be in for a world of hurt. Zenith Blade does latch, and there is the Sun leap in from Sin. And the Fed get Fedder. There you go, Ninja. Able to grab himself a kill. And you can see that early 2 kills that Sin picked up under that bottom turret for the dive, just snowballing into more and more for the rest of World Elite. Picked up 1 kill off the first dive on Zatai, and then he's actually giving a second kill there over to Ninja. Incredible map movement by World Elite, and putting a lot of pressure on Zatai, who, like you said, is the shot caller. Maybe throwing off IG just a little bit.
Yeah, so now 5 kills difference at the very beginning of the game. The failed dive was kinda okay, but now that they've lost so many kills, and Zatai, he is the one to get shut down so much, and there's no PDD. He was like the star member of the team, so he was keeping them together. And now Zatai as the shot caller, as the captain, he gets broken in the middle lane.
Now, traditionally, it has been, or at least the age-old man. Oh no, roam through the jungle. It's Illusion that just gets melted. No ward coverage to scout that out at all, and he just thought he was doing his buff. There's a little bit more than a buff there. You gotta fight more than just the neutral monsters. Whole team of World Elite showing up in the jungle and taking him out. So now 8-2 World Elite just all over this Invictus Gaming roster. And now focus on the mid lane. We'll see if Zatai can stay alive through what I can only imagine is going to be another dive.
And just look at that. World Elite, they didn't have time to scrim, so they are not going for the complicated tactics. They are just going for the brute force. And look at how well it works.
Conan, I think he's been in lane with Wei Zhao for like maybe 2 minutes of this game. He has literally been roaming around, making plays both mid lane, and now you can see just roaming through the jungle. They're just shutting Illusion down even further. Illusion may have gotten the double golems, but he lost those double buffs, as now the red buff is well taken away, and now with that isolation damage so strong for Kha'Zix, even though it's warded, I don't think World Elite are too concerned about this. There is some positioning, so they will back off. The top lane turret about to go down, as Wei Zhao definitely winning that lane out. So if they can't get the dragon, they'll at least get a turret and continue their objective control.
Well, I'm sure that they will get both the dragon and the turret. This will give them a tremendous amount of gold. And right now World Elite is already leading in the game, and they're just looking for a stomp onto IG. And look at their positioning. They are not giving anything away. They are not being aggressive anymore. But they got the kills. They're just taking everything safely.
Exactly, and with advantages in almost every lane, just about the only place you can maybe look for an advantage on IG is I mean, the top lane, but even still, both top laners pretty equivocally behind, especially with that first turret giving a little bit of extra gold. Salme, he's going to be a little bit more ahead in that regard. So maybe you want to look towards the AD carries and say, okay, well, Kid's got that extra kill, but he's down a little bit in CS, and at the same time, very, very vulnerable. And there it is, Salme getting the perfect outplay. Kid didn't even see it coming. He's like deer in the headlights. Salme getting the same outplay. Oh my gosh, this Gragas play. Beautiful watch.
Yeah, and Conan once again on the roam. This is exactly what I know World Lead for when they're in the best performance. I have seen Conan going for the roaming support style once, and now it's the second time he goes for it, and he just wrecks everyone. And that's the World Lead that I love.
World Elite, they do the roam game so well. You can see even Ninja. Oh, look at the tie. One glitter lance, and he's down to like half health. Bottom lane, though, we've got Kitties right there in the middle. Salme is he's going to be in a little bit of a rough spot, but can he manage to get away, flash away from the knockup? Nice juke. We'll get him out
Perfect
alive.
one. It would have been even easier if he had the explosive cast, but look at that in the top lane. Sin is forcing out just the Dragon's Descent. Actually, it could have been a kill.
And now Axine, he's up in the top lane, but whoa, mid lane's where the action's at. Again, the gank onto the tie. He'll pull Ninja just a little bit further in. That just decides that he wants to go all the way in for this one. Last turret shot picks up the kill though. So Zatai is gonna have a little bit of a breathing room. Zatai with almost a second outplay in a row. Now, oh, Conan's got to deal with Yongsu. Gets stunned up just a little bit. Axine's there for the pressure, but Zatai did the best he could do. Traded 1 for 1. Almost got a little bit more.
In the previous week, we had Ludus in the top who were the supports, and now we have the support being the better jungler right now because Conan is doing such a great job right there, stunning everyone up, securing the kills if someone doesn't manage to do it himself. He's just everywhere around the map, has the mobile boots already, being a little bit more tanky than Sin, of course. It's like the definition of a better jungler.
Yeah, and Axine is just, he's been absolutely everywhere. Now with mobility boots, that everywhere is pretty much going to be accurate. Now, he is very low, so he'll have to back away from that dragon, but honestly, I'm not even sure that IG can go for this even without the jungle presence there. We were talking about the top lane matchup, how that's going to work out, and with that nice barrel play in the bottom lane, Yongsu is, oh, nice dodge away from the body slam, but still can't manage to trade out against Salme's Gragas, and it'll be interesting to see if Salme goes for that full tank Gragas build. It does look like he's got some Sork shoes, but will that Glacial Shroud become an Iceborne Gauntlet, or will he go for the tanky Gragas build we saw earlier on and get the Frozen Heart?
Well, I think it's going to be the Frostburn Gauntlet. The way they are playing the game at the moment, they don't really need the tankiness. They just need the aggression. They will finish off the game really quickly.
Oh, Battle of the Words in the Tri-Brush. Kitties wins it out for now until World Elite can pressure on in there. And really, World Elite don't need any additional map control on the bottom lane. It's where they're actually probably the strongest. And look at that pressure on the blue buff. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop Axine from taking that one away. Grabs it down, and it's only Yongsu to kind of watch as a spectator. Bottom lane, 2v2 is interesting, but big plays being made on the upper half of the map for World Elite.
When they were fighting over this ward, I just expected Conan to go in with a solar flare, and well, whatever, I'm the best player in here right now because you can clearly see that he makes all the plays happen from the early game up until now. Finally, he joined Wei Xiao in the bottom lane, but he still is a big factor in the game, and I'm quite sure that IG are so afraid of Conan when they see him under a turret.
Oh, Illusion once again getting shoved out of his jungle. Ninja's just chasing him all the way out, not content to let him leave on his own. Had to usher him away. It's like they're calling security. That security is a ninja. He's just like, I'm sorry, sir, you need to leave your jungle now. Oh, Kid and Kitties are underneath their turret. They know what's happening. And that bottom lane may not be a very safe place to stay.
And once again, Conan on the roam, heading towards the middle lane, and actually, nope, just taking the red buff. So they will leave Wei Xiao to free farm a little bit in the bottom lane. He already has a little lead over Kid when they're in CS. However, he has no kills and no assists at all. That is actually interesting because he already secured so many kills, but Wei Xiao was never there actually. Now is their chance to finally, for the third time, kicking off this dragon, and they will most probably take it out this time around.
And there you go. It's going to be World Elite with the Dragon, but to be honest, the biggest difference so far isn't with any of the players that are here. It's the contrast between this matchup last season and this season. The departure of PDD from IG's roster means that Yongsu has some big boots to fill, and you can see Salme, he's winning that matchup pretty hard. There's Ninja with the knock-up. Dragon's Descent on out of there. Yongsu, where are you going to run, buddy? You're on the wrong side, and adding insult to injury with the explosive cast. Salme knocks him into turret and takes him down.
Yeah, that was okay. He used the Dragon's Descent to try and run away, but then there's the turret, and what you gonna do? And there's still the explosive cast. I actually expected
and look at
Salme
bottom
not
lane
to use
too. Conan and Wei Zhao are just gonna take that turret down. I don't think Kitties is. He may be a great wall, but he's not great enough. But a nice dunk in there. Yongsu's gonna go down. Meanwhile, it's Conan who will finally be taken away. They've reclaimed the Barbarian throne, and 1-for-1 globally, but the turret advantage once again to World Elite.
And then even there is the shutdown gold bonus from the support. That is actually weird to see, but still the killing spree was there. So a little bit of a bonus gold coming to Jarvan's pocket. And Illusion got, alongside Zetai, he got shut down so much in this jungle, he'll definitely put this gold to good use.
Axane having about the best game you could possibly have, and you can tell that because he's picked up a Sword of the Occult. And I feel like at this point, that's probably a good indication of how this game is going. 11-4, not the biggest difference in score, but it's more about kind of the attitude and the positioning, the presence out there. And like you said earlier, it's not the full tank build for Same's top lane, Gragas. He did go for that Iceborne Gauntlet. A little bit more offensive, to be honest, and that's what this World Elite team has been all game long.
And the Yongsu, he is even trying to go for the Blade of the Ruined King. At this point in the game, I'm quite sure it's not going to work out for him. He's not going to get any kills for him.
He's probably never going to hit that item. Even if he does, it'll be in, like the next 3 to 4 minutes, and at that point, everybody else will have either tank stats or more damage than he can handle, and especially with the 2v1. Oh, Axine going to jump in onto Kitties. Does block things out there with the Great Wall, but is unable to have any backup, so no way to turn that around. World Elite, though, looking a little bit, not necessarily indecisive. Their decision is onto that top half of the jungle, once again controlling that blue buff area.
I'm actually waiting until Wei Xiao becomes a big factor in the game, because he's still 0-0-0, perfect 0 score right there, and he is going to run in with the callings and hit really hard later on. He's just getting the farm in the bottom lane, and then when he joins the fights, World Elite is going to be even scarier to IG than now.
IG, especially Illusion. Illusion hasn't been able to go hardly anywhere in his own jungle, but he has managed to keep relatively relevant in CS, and he does have a couple of kills to his name. The big difference, though, is that he doesn't have the team to back him up when he goes in as that big initiator. You see Zetai, he's been ganked so many times mid lane, he's even further behind, and Ninja, while Zetai has been staying mid to try to catch back up in this lane, Ninja's been roaming. Here he's going to pick up, actually, the blue buff away from Zetai. So, I mean, Zetai's doing a good job holding even, to be fair, but it's not about just, breaking even in your lane or coming back. It's about what your opponents are doing while you're busy doing that, and World Elite just making plays across the map.
Yeah, so World Elite just gathering up the gold, and look at that Sword of the Occult picked up for Sin right there in the item build. He will be looking for some more blood, so we can expect some teamfight to happen, actually. In a short
Illusion
time.
is walking over some security cameras. He's trying to be a secret agent in his own jungle, but the wards will scout him out. Great upper map vision there for World Elite. They pretty much know whatever's happening, so while Tame is still playing forward, he's playing very aggressive, very far away from his own turret. He is very well aware of any potential threats that are headed his way.
Because World Elite actually stopped doing much in the game overall. They're not pushing up the terrace, they're not getting the kills. They can't take a dragon because it's gone. So it's kind of weird to see them getting such a huge lead and actually just sitting in their own jungle, chilling and doing nothing. We have seen a lot of games like that being lost due to people getting the early advantage and not doing much after. taking that. And well, it's kind of a stomp in the kills, but in terms of that, we have seen a bigger stomp in the previous game because the turret difference was so huge. So the OMG's lineup was able to finish off the game really quickly. And World Lead, they have the kills, but what does it give them if they can't really take down the turrets?
Now it is coming down to positioning around the mid lane. You can see side lane, they're off doing their own thing. While teleports are up, I just, you look, there's a Sword of the Occult on the Kha'Zix. Like, there's only a certain amount of time until he starts finding kills. Even just assists is gonna put some stacks on there. Too bad you don't get any of those off of neutral monsters, as the dragon is going to go down here to World Elite, or at least it should. I mean, for IG to really contest that dragon, they'd have to have at least vision, which they very well don't around the dragon area. But mid lane turret going down just opens up that opportunity to take down dragon even further.
Yeah, Salme is still knocking Youngsu down to below half of his health and creating pressure. That's the most important thing right there, because Youngsu can't really teleport and IG can't really look for a fight, and Salme is okay with staying in a 1v1. His team doesn't need him.
Illusion now supposed to hold up this top lane. I think he'll be maybe able to go in onto Salme if he's really careful, but is forced to back away. Of course, Zatai should be forced back here pretty soon. Yeah, he's having to back out of mana. Can't keep up that wave clear in the mid lane. You can just see buff control objectives right there. 6 reds, 5 blues, and only 3 total buffs at all to Invictus Gaming. So very strong objective control for World Elite. Not just the dragons, but controlling the buffs and the jungle as well.
Look at the wards right there. 3 wards in one place just to make sure they see everything.
Well, some more clearing coming out. IG will at least clear out a few of the wards in their own jungle. Of course, one does survive. It's the Trinket ward. I think Salme actually placed that one down when he was pushed up a little bit earlier. So IG, they're doing an okay job trying to limit the vision, but when you're sweeping wards, you're not necessarily placing a whole lot of them. IG definitely a little light on the vision there, even as Kitties throws some down.
Still waiting for World League to actually do some kind of a big play. I don't know if they are waiting for the Baron just to finish off the game straight after that because they can't do it before. But well, World League, they are weirdly passive. Like really, I expect something at least to happen around it. And maybe they are trying to look for some traps, but they are falling back and just clearing out the minions. Not really doing much to end the game.
Now, in IG Series versus LGD last week, we saw IG come out to an early lead, but then LGD just draw it on later and later, and finally able to come back for IG. If they do the same thing, it'll actually work out relatively well. I mean, Braum's great for scaling, Kog'Maw great as well, and you land 3,000 Elo Shockwave on just about anyone, and it's going to be pretty good for Zatai. The only problem is that there is actually just a lack of damage on IG. Shyvana, not super damaging. Jarvan, he's got some armor shred. Maybe that helps a little bit. Orianna, it's more of a team fight mage. Whereas you look at World Elite, you've got a Sword of the Occult, still looking for a few stacks on it. But Ninja does a ton of damage. Even Salme has chosen to go for a more offensive build with Morella and Omicron on top of those Iceborne Gauntlets. And you can just see Youngsu, even though he's able to handle him maybe 1v1, it's not going to be that dirty once it comes to team fights. And why would you team fight when you can just take down Baron, Nash, or World Elite? They're trying to burn it down. I think IG are going to be here in time, and so World Elite will back off just for now. IG in the area. They've been sucked in by the objective. We'll see if it turns into a team fight.
I'm really surprised by that, because I said that maybe they're looking for a Baron, but I didn't expect it to be true. And really, were they just waiting around for 10 minutes, not doing anything just to take a Baron, and then maybe look for a fight versus Invictus Gaming.
Bottom lane though, Salme is going in there. Youngsu trying to jump away. Is he gonna make it? And the answer, of course, is wait. Oh yes. My gosh! Yes, with just a sliver of HP, Salme now forced to TP out. Makes it out alive as well. Impressive play by both top laners, but maybe a little bit greedy on the dive there for Salme.
Yeah, and the answer, of course, is yes. That was really surprising, and Youngsu with a perfect use of the scent of the dragon, completely juking this Gragas, and now look at that. Really, the Chinese guys need this Baron so much to close out the game, to even fight a team fight, but Wei Xiao gets caught by a shockwave, not really going down though.
Oh my gosh. Alright, well, we've got two things to watch out for. One, possible comeback potential for IG. For Zitai, really, now that he's got that death cap, he can start maybe making these big picks that, well, will start to hurt. But then you look at guys like Ninja. His Lichbane completed. He actually went Lichbane before death cap, which is not the order you're used to seeing just because of the Lichbane nerfs and how well Lulu scales with that ability power. So, I'm looking for at least some combo ability from IG to come back, but World Elite are just taking each individual lane by storm.
Yeah, and 7k gold difference at the moment without the Baron taken down, without much happening, actually, all around the map for a long time. It's quite big. It's just the farm that World Elite have taken, and if they start going for the objectives, it's going to get really bad for Invictus again. And look at that, Illusion may get caught right here.
Nice flash there. Illusion was able to get to the other side of the explosive cask and knocked his way to safety. Still, you're forced to flash out of your own jungle. And now, oh, World Elite, they're going to start an on to Baron attempt number 2. This time a little bit stronger of an attempt. Of course, Illusion does not have flash. He's going to have to use that flag and drag to get in there, and more importantly, Youngsu's all the way bottom lane. He's gonna TP in. This is the fight that IG won. World Leader in the Baron pit. Is this where IG turned around? A nice play there to set things up. Kid flashing towards the back. Kid just dealing so much damage in the back. Nobody's touching Kid. Oh my gosh, Sin is actually gonna go down to the Bio Arcane Barrage, and now World Elite is in full retreat. IG with the fight of their lives.
Yeah, and it took 3 takes to take down a Baron for World Elite, so why not 3 takes for a Baron right here? And, well, IG perfectly fending them off, but the Shockwave, I noticed that it missed completely. It didn't hit anyone, but Kid, well, having a perfect positioning on Kog'Maw is really vital to playing a Kog'Maw. And right now, if he remains untouched, World Elite are in a really bad spot. You said it yourself. This is a really good scaling champion into the late game, and if he gets untouched in the late game, it's going to get even worse for World Elite. And actually, they had such a huge lead. And now Kid is looking so well.
And we're going to see a replay here of this Baron fight. TP comes in from Youngsu, and look at this wall in front of Kid. He actually walks a little bit too far forward. Solar Flare hits, and he gets stunned up there. Immediate flash backwards from him. And just look at this choke point. Perfect wall for all that range from Kog'Maw to really hit home. There's Sin there. He's going to kind of sacrifice himself by Arcane Barrage and sniping him down. Kid there with the kill. You can just see that guy is so amazed. I'm amazed, but I don't look quite like that, so it's a little bit of a different effect. I'm just like, I'm making these emphatic gestures, but nobody can see them. I promise you, they're super epic, just like this game. World Elite still in the driver's seat, but IG with a nice team fight win.
Yeah, and they took a third for this one too. They're coming back in gold by a little bit, and as I said, Kid is going to be the most important one right here. Maybe Illusion jumping in with a Shockwave on top of himself could be good, but they're still not going to do as much as Kid is, even with 4 members of this IG team.
Oh,
so once again,
goodness.
Baron.
This game is like so balanced, and like you said, Baron is going to be, I feel like what has to decide this.
IG once again looking for the vision right there, and World Elite once again will be looking for this Baron because they can't really find a fight without it. They haven't been able to find a fight without it for like 15 minutes now. So this ends up all around the Baron, and finally IG will get their blue buff.
Well, Conan clearing out wards once again. He's ransacking the countryside, looking for as many ward kills as possible, trying to hear the lamentations of IG's women and other things that barbarians do. Does a great job of clearing the Baron area. Meanwhile, Tame able to do a pretty good job down there in the bottom half of the map on to Youngsu. Of course, both top laners. It's really a battle of the teleports. Not whether or not you can fight each other, it's whether or not you're going to be there for the fights. Youngsu TP'd in last time. So his will be down for another minute and a half just about. Cao Mei, of course, with his up can continue to split bottom.
Yeah, and everyone is just gathering up around this middle lane, around this Baron. They're waiting. Everyone is waiting. Once again, we have wasted 15 minutes of this game, not seeing anything happen, just farming up by world lead. And we'll see another 15 minutes of the game wasted on the Baron dance before anyone does anything.
I mean, that's good for IG. If they can force this Baron dance, I mean, sooner or later, you're going to get gold on that Kog'Maw. He's up to completed 3 items, if you count the boots, and looking for... I guess he's going Banshee's Veil next. We've seen the resurgence of like Siege Kog'Maw, where you go for less crit and more just like double lifesteal, pick up the Bloodthirster. And it's especially true in patch 4.9, the patch that this is being played on. Oh man, we got a little bit of a catch here. Illusion is not necessarily going to be able to make it out of this one alive. Get that culling from the other side as Wei Zhao's just there for some moral support. Tickled him a little bit, and a nice pick on the jungler means that World League could actually have some presence here on Baron if they want to go for it.
Yeah, the question is if IG are going to do anything to prevent it. The world lead actually maybe looking for a fight right here. They need the turrets once again because the kills, as I said, they get a lot of kills but they don't have the turrets and they can't really do much.
Well, World Elite definitely doing all they can, and with a TP in here on a Baron from Cao Mei, we talked about how his teleport was up, Yongsu's was not, and that puts World Elite in a much stronger position here to take down Baron Nashor. You got Kog'Maw coming in from behind, immediate counter engage there. You gotta get a look back on to Kid, gets knocked back away, and Kid is in a great spot, but needs to TP back in there, and there's actually Kid just destroying Conan through his armor, just doesn't matter. Gotta get the dunks down on it to it was actually Ninja that went down there, and IG just monsters of the Baron pit. Now it's their turn to start in on to Baron Nashor. Of course, Cao Mei's got some damage over the wall. You're gonna see consistent poke there, and actually, oh, Kitty's dropping down very low. Command shockwave onto Cao Mei, almost takes him down. The culling a little bit light on the damage there, but both teams very, very low. Of course, Axine is looking to just jump in over the wall for the steal. IG have to be very, very careful about this. They get the smite, and oh, Sin just jumps in a little bit too late. He will go down. It's going to be Kid taking him out. Of course, Wei Zhao falls as well, and Invictus Gaming, 30 minutes in, find their stride. They're going to pick this one up late.
Yeah, so Baron, MVP of every LPL game for like 3 years right now. This is incredible.
I mean, I feel like World Elite, like, IG would need like some angels in the outfield to catch that throw. It's still going, it's out there, but IG just incredible positioning around that Baron pit. And you got to give some credit to Kid, and also a little bit to Cao Mei, who actually knocked Kid to safety in that last fight. He just destroyed World Elite. I mean, Wei Zhao was in there dealing damage, but he just got exploded towards the end of that fight. It's just nowhere near the same participation. IG, with that Baron, looking for a dragon as well. They come out ahead in all respects.
Yeah, and look at that. World Lead was not looking for the objectives, and that's what I said. Turrets are really important. And after IG got this Baron, they got a lot of turrets, and now they are in a huge lead. If not the gold, then at least mentally, they know that they can beat World Lead so bad.
Well, for at least for now, well, we actually talked about coming into this. World Elite had not actually scrimmed at all, at least as far as we know, because of their Korean players having visa issues. So they came into this a little bit unpracticed, whereas IG had been able to practice things up there. They knew their matchup coming ahead of time, so this is the result of this. Maybe a weak early game just due to the stellar individual play. That's always going to be that way for World Elite, but as soon as it comes to these big decision-making calls, you can see maybe a little bit of a lack of coordination from World Elite. Those Baron fights could definitely have been played a little cleaner.
Yeah, so Conan being a huge factor in the early game for World Elite, but later on he can't really dish out all the damage and defend everyone in the fight, so World Elite. And they were giving a lot on this support, but he can't really carry the game. Now they will be struggling from such a dominant performance in the early.
And the Gragas Kha'Zix combo is one that used to be ran with like a mid lane Gragas. The idea is that you knock somebody away from the team with explosive cast, and that gives Kha'Zix the isolation damage. Then he needs to just burst down a carry if you can catch them out. And I mean, Tamae's had some pretty impressive barrels over the course of just this game, but it's going to take a little bit more than that to get the job done. He is, I don't know, he's still choosing to build a little bit more damagey, so he's not going to be able to tank things up. And oh, Kitty's just finally saying, screw it, let's do it. Middle turret in the bottom lane. Of course, the second tier will go down. IG finally pushing through. This is exactly what they need. They need turrets. They need permanent objectives out there. And let's play this base turret carefully, but a very strong push from IG.
They have the one turret advantage right now, and coming out on top in gold. Well, Kid actually a little bit behind in farm. But if he makes that up, this will be a huge Kog'Maw, and he already has a lot of kills right there, out of nowhere.
Yeah, speaking of being behind, it's not necessarily about being behind it, it's about not being ahead. You look at the Sword of the Occult on Axine, he just doesn't know what to do with it. It's in his inventory, it's not really doing a whole lot. 0 stacks for as long as I can remember, ever since he got it. So Snowball kind of stopped rolling, melted there as World Elite were rolling it down. But we're looking for inhibitor damage coming in. IG, they take the first base turret, but are they overstaying their welcome? Illusion starting to drop a little bit low. There is the Great Wall in front of Kitties. Oh, Command Shockwave, massive from Zitai. Crushes that team fight, takes out Salome. Axine's very low. Ninja gets caught out there in the back line. Illusion might be able to take him down. No shield, good to keep him alive. Makes it back to base in time, and IG just explode through the inhibitor. They're getting Nexus turret damage now.
Yeah, so Kid being such a vital point in IG's lineup right now. He just came the game back alone, being untouched in one fight and another fight, and that is it. The Kog'Maw is just too strong if you know how to position him. And actually, all the AD carries being so aggressive in China, that's why he's not played too often. But Kid showing a perfect play on Kog'Maw.
World Elite now the ones on the back foot. You can see the gold swinging all the way from like a 6,000 to 7,000 gold deficit for IG. Now they're 2,000 in the lead, or at least 1,500 right now. It's been a rough road for World Elite to travel over the course of the last 10 minutes, and especially with the Kog'Maw start to come out. This is a 4-item Kog'Maw. Literally the only item you're missing is either a Bloodthirster or Infinity Edge if you want to go for either one of those. Kid is incredibly strong now. 4, 1, and 3. It's going to be rough for even Wei Zhao to deal with, much less the rest of World Elite. Although Youngsu has to be careful here. Dragon's Descent on keeps him safe, but off of a very dedicated top lane push there and presence from World Elite, IG are just going to push down mid for the inhib. Cullen gonna come out there. Illusion maybe a little bit low, but we'll see how this reaction works out. I don't know. World Elite, they have a couple options. They're still very strong. They have the big engage, and honestly, if Kid gets locked down by like a solar flare, that is Axine's time to shine. He can jump in, get this, maybe go from there. But Kid has had some great positioning, even though he is. It's been hit or miss, but it's definitely been hitting home these last few fights.
Yeah, but still there's the Brahms Unbreakable, the Glacial Fissure, there's still the Dragon's Descent, so everyone can just defend Kid later on. Well, IG, well, they need to try and look for an engage right now with the Shockwave because they deal so much damage already, and they have 2 players that can deliver them directly into the enemy team, and they just need this Shockwave to land quite well.
Oh my gosh, right as you were talking about it, landing right well in the back line. Wei Zhao is still actually pretty low though, but look at IG there, just gonna Zerg in on here. Of course, 1 Nexus turret already down. IG overdiving maybe a little bit to try to catch in on to Youngsu trying to get in there and catch out. But with the Nexus turrets going down, oh my gosh, Ninja just gets exploded there. Tai finally finding his stride, Kid finding his, and Invictus Gaming off of the Baron fight of their lives. Lord Baron Nashor prevails once again. This time he's smiling on Invictus Gaming, who will take down game number 1 versus World Elite and take them out of contention for that first place spot.
Yeah, so this time around IG didn't play too much around the fountain. That's good for them. They take the Nexus down. It is definitely a perfect game for them, and not many of you maybe have expected that. And especially after World Elite having such a perfect performance in the early game, the game turned around so drastically later on.
Alright, of course, now you can see maybe coming up a little bit more in the standings. IG pick up a point. World Elite still sitting at 8, so they are tied with Starhorn, who lost 0-2. And of course, EDG, who will play tomorrow versus Starhorn, I believe. So, got some incredible matches coming up this week. And to be honest, the one that I'm probably looking most forward to will be that EDG Starhorn match tomorrow. But as far as this series that we've got going on right now, maybe some signs of mortality. World Elite, they won things out early on. They had a great strategy that said, hey, let's go for it. Worked out, but IG just had the better shot calling late game and honestly the better positioning from their AD.